So this is the second part of this video. This is for the week of the 23rd of November 2020. And a video have been cut off because I'm running out of memory and I have to delete some files. So what I was saying is that I have this video. I already told the title, Conferencia Económica El Mundo Colapso e Iremos a Peor, Santiago Niño Becerra, economista, from Futuro Económico, that's the channel. So in this video, what I like about this video, and there is things that I don't really like it, and because I think maybe the suggestions are for improving. I don't think they are the best, to be honest. But I definitely, or I don't think they are effective. They will be effective in the practical situation, with improvement, of the situation. But something that I like about this video is that they were saying they were telling about what the world is, the situation we are globally. And they don't make difference between left wing and right wing. And I thought, well, fair enough, because we don't need to make that difference between left wing and right wing, for knowing that the world is in a mess. Basically, we don't need to tell it's because the blame is from right wing or left wing, which I don't think I did the videos to blame anyone, I just make the videos because that's the political situation, and the political situation obviously is gonna have a lot decisions to make for the country, So obviously it's gonna have an impact, whether it's the approach, political approach, is in place, But when we are talking about the world situation in general, because political parties are different, a lot different ones, and especially globally. And I think I mentioned that in the last video last week. There's so many parties nowadays, and they use different politics, a mix of politics as well, But I thought it was good to clarify what type of politics we are using, where we are just to identify where we are going wrong, and what other alternative kind of politics we need to introduce to overcome these difficulties, So that's why I was trying to clarify the political situation, or different, for a purpose of to identify, to find the right approach to use, really, rather than identity. It's not in terms of identity, but yes, as a strategy, to improve the situation. But I like the fact that in this video they are not differentiate right, left, or they are not talking about left wing or right wing, but they say that we are in a global situation that is marked with a capitalism approach, which again is on the right wing, But the importance of this, to identify that this capitalism, is that what the gentleman says, that capitalism is collapsing. Okay, it doesn't matter if you think you are in the right or in the left, or in the right or in the wrong, or as Barack Obama, he said that he is very capitalistic, but he believes in some minimum public services. So I think that for me, that's not capitalism. That's socialism. Why socialism and not capitalism? Because if you are believing in minimum services, you are controlling the market in terms of services. You are controlling that side of market. Capitalism have become a bit, have developed this wrong idea or belief that they have invented market. No, capitalism have not invented market. Capitalism have invented, maybe, well, they have invented, capitalism invented a free market. Okay, and free market is not feasible. It have been in practice in very, 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 very limited locations for limited time, because what it does is just exploit the natural resources, and they have to move to somewhere else. And that's what happened when they create this paradise, the tax paradise, and then they have to move somewhere else when the natural resources are exhausted. But it's not feasible as a general kind of approach around the world. But they are talking, one of their defense of any person believing in right side and capitalism is that they have invented market, and they can imagine a world without capitalism because they think they can imagine a world without market, but they haven't invented market. The market has been there since ever human have become. I think every always there is some kind of market, even before humans, even between creatures, any creatures, because market is only the exchange of goods. And I think there always have been some form of a change of good, So capitalism have not invented market, okay? Let's clarify that, because I think it's really important on why we are holding wrong beliefs, why we are holding to something that is not true. We are holding to a wrong idea, and it's to believe that if we lose capitalism, we are losing market. No, we are not losing market. It's always going to be some kind of market. The only thing that capitalism invented was free market, and free market, as I say, is not feasible. It's not feasible. Okay. It have been periods and people that wanted to try, and they have failed. They have failed to use free market because it's just not feasible. Always, because free market means no control whatsoever on prices, on laws, no rules for for market, And let's face it, I was saying this about, I was talking about rules last week as well, when I showed the video between anarchists and liberals being the no rules kind of approach, left side for anarchists and right side for liberals, but it's not possible not to live in a world with no rules, never. It's just not possible. So I don't really understand anarchism. I don't really understand liberals, because they are promoting something that is not possible. How you can live with no rules whatsoever? Never. So I don't understand when they are promoting that. I really don't understand that, what they are trying to. Maybe they are using the wrong meaning, but I definitely think some people really believe they could live with no rules whatsoever. But in my opinion, I'm sorry, they are wrong. And I know it sounds very. Sometimes it can be, a dream, oh, no rules, everyone do what you want, but in the reality, it wouldn't work, because it will be a conflict of interest between everyone, So it have to be some rules, I'm afraid. And the discussion should be more about how much rules, but not whether rules or no rules, because the discussions have become so extreme, that it's impossible to get an agreement, People that is no one rules, they believe it shouldn't be not even one rule, but then they want some kind of leadership, Because if you want leadership, it have to be some rules on who is the leader, how the leadership is applied, is a structure. So it have to be some rules. So even it's just a contradiction, But they seem to think they have this idea that there shouldn't be any rules. And when they are talking about a left side, about more public services and public wealth, they think it's completely control. And that's what they always, when you mention left wing, immediately they say communism. No, it doesn't have to be communism. That's the strain of left wing control, but it doesn't have to be, So it can be a market, of course. It can be a market in the left wing, but with some control, And I think the discussion should be how much the control, not whether it should be control or not control. Because always gonna need some control, and even the video I showed last week. The last week I used 2 videos, but one I didn't want to mention the title, and another one that I showed the video, or I showed the title anyway, and it was about this discussion between liberals and anarchism. The guy from anarchism in the left wing, he was promoting, he was saying about control, prices control, and the guy from the liberals, he admit that should be some control for some goods, such medication, and that's what they were discussing about, and he admit there should be some control, and so that's what I'm saying. Why the argument have become in control or no control? The argument should be on how much control, and that will include socialistic kind of policies with some control of key goods that have to be, access. The access have to be for everyone. And that's why I'm saying that it's good that this video, the one I'm showing this week, it's good that they say, they didn't mention about left wing or right wing, but they were definitely exposing the collapse of capitalism. And this collapse of capitalism is no now. It's not that we don't have time to, it's just started. No. The collapse of capitalism, back in 2007 with the credit crunch, or 2008, we are never clear, because banks, they were very active to hide the real problem, some because they were trying to hide, which I think some managed to do it, to transfer the problem to other banks, some because maybe were unaware, I don't know, but as you watch that movie, I don't know the movie, with Antonio Banderas, what's the name of the guys, the movie is the great short. I can't remember. It's about this. It's about the credit crunch and how the banks, they were trying to hide it, and some of them clearly because they were trying to transfer their corrupt funds to other banks, a lot of banks were from America because initially it started in America, and they have the time to transfer their corrupt funds to banks in Europe. Obviously, we are never clear where exactly it started, but it says that it started in 2007 in America and then it transferred or become apparent in 2008 in Europe. And what happened is that, what I was talking about. Yeah, the collapse of capitalism is not something that happened last week or a year ago. It happened. It was clearly starting from 2007 or 2008. Let's say 2008 was clear for absolutely everyone in the world. 2008, at least. So I remember back then, because the credit crunch was devastating for many people. For many people, it have changed life completely, It have changed life completely. It maybe haven't been devastated for everyone, but it definitely changed the life of everyone. And I do remember before 2008 and after 2008, and I remember life have changed completely. Before 2008, it was this feeling of living in commodity, At least in Europe, that's only the what I can say, because that's my experience basically. From 2008, everything had been austerity in politics and limit resources, financial resources, and the life had changed a lot. But I was surprised that even back then, in 2008, I remember at least one professional in finances that he would say, is the collapse of capitalism. This will indicate, the credit crunch was clearly exposing the collapse of capitalism. So you will think that it will be more introduced other different and alternative politics and a different approach to finances, but instead they are increasing the intensity of capitalism in terms of more free market with more freedom. And he was saying, why this is happening, it should be, and then, but it haven't happened. It have not been an alternative. It have only been an increase of intensity of capitalism and free market. And I say there is no such a thing as free market. There is no such a thing, but it's getting, in that direction, less and less rules, So why we should do the opposite, and the opposite will be, for me, for my understanding, maybe I don't know any other approach, but I think the opposite for me is more socialistic kind of decisions in terms of to include some control of prices to reduce inflation, and to more regulate market, with more security, more security for consumers, which there is none anymore. There is none. You are buying goods that you don't know is you are getting the quality you are paying for, or you are getting any quality is you are going for a cheaper prices because there is no regulation in standards or anything. And to the point when cars have been fake the level of emissions, can use maybe mechanics that are not as safe as the consumers' standards will expect, and many things that are ignoring the standards that we need, for safety, for quality. And it's happening from, as I say, from 2008, and it's not still the same. So that's what I think we maybe should start introducing more social kind of approach. And another thing that I have noticed recently is that in right wing is more about, because it's about private property, is more about one person's opinion, and if that person dominate for because they are in a position that can dominate, they tend to impose their personal opinions. And you can see that in many politics, that how their personal situation will be reflected on the decisions they make for nations. And next week I want to talk more about